From a love from capitalism to those who say welfareism, there's being differences between the presidential candidates in the 2023 elections, particularly that of Mr. Atiku Abubakar, who was the presidential candidate of the PDP. He has a clear directive and a clear perspective on the manner in which the economy should go, and that doesn't look to have changed from his position in 2019 when he ran for the same office. This time around, he's warning that the president and the Tinubu government and the APC are running the economy badly. He said that they have a disgraceful transparency in corruption issues, that this government lacks transparency, and he's warning that this government needs to be careful. If not, they will run this country aground. Tonight, let's get some perspectives on the standpoint of the former Vice President, Atiku Abubakar. Joining me is media advisor, Mr. Aide. Thank you so much, Mr. Aide, for joining us tonight.
Thank you, Sean, for having me.
It does look like the criticisms and the opposition standpoint or views of Mr. Atiku Abubakar is very loud these days. And a lot of people are wondering, what does it feel like? Let us read his mind. Does he think that this government is running this economy badly?
Listen, Sean, Atiku Abubakar, like millions of us are Nigerians, meaning that we're stakeholders in the Nigerian project. He's very concerned about, we all knew how bad the situation was, before May 29. But what we're hoping was that, the candidate who has now, transmitted to, being the president would have been able to, come with, policies and strategies to addressing those challenges. But the situation is getting worse. As we speak, inflation is at 31.7%. Food inflation is 37.9%, about 38%. A bag of rice, as at 3 days ago, I was in the market and I bought one. It was 70,000. What is driving the inflation are the most basic, of the needs, foods, milk, potatoes, all of those basic things that we need, to survive, as citizens. We begin to wonder whether we are not going back to beginning to look like 1984, to us, that season of essential commodities. And ironically, was Buhari, who is, the predecessor to the current, president.
I'll touch on a few areas which the vice president has criticized this government. He does think that the economic policies are not right. What is his own panacea? What is his own solutions to the current problems? Because in the APC, they've criticized him to say he sounds like a bad loser who is still very upset about his election loss.
He's not a bad loser. Like I said, he's a patriot. He's very concerned. And anybody should be concerned about, the way things are going, in Nigeria. Atiku was clear from the beginning about the role the private sector should play, in the economy. And he did say clearly that we didn't have the resources. Those resources were not available. So it means that he must create an environment that will enable, that will attract, foreign investment. Government should be able to have a handshake, with the private sector. Lay out, policies. What have we had since the last 10 months or thereabout? It will be 10 months, in the next couple of, days. What we had was a removal of subsidy that was not well thought through. The man did not have a cabinet in place. He acted on his own in his whims, and then threw a bomb, threw the gauntlet, and here we are.
But your principal said he would remove subsidy too.
You see, removing subsidy also, comes with a lot of, things. You need to plan. There must be a plan in place. The aftershocks and all of that. There is. We have an energy crisis. Now, look at the electricity supply. We're running a generator economy, and meanwhile, diesel, it's gone up. The price of diesel has gone to the roof. So it's about the way it was done. It's not everybody has said, yes, we needed to remove, subsidy. But what did you do leading up to that? What plan did you have in place? Zero plan. And then it has backfired. It has led to, inflation, unprecedented, rise in inflation, food, cost of, doing business, and practically everything, has taken a cue because of the component of the cost of, of transportation.
So the question is, what would Atiku have done differently?
Atiku will have had shocks in place. Atiku will have ensured that even before the, the announcement of the removal of subsidy, that there are plans that will ensure that the very poor, the vulnerable Nigerians, okay, have something to fall back on. We don't have anything to fall back on right now. I mean, whatever it is that they are doing now is just, trying to, medicine, speaking, after the fact, there was no plan for the removal of subsidy. And that's exactly why we are having, the challenges that we're having today. And compounded by the issue of the Forex that has created, instability and, and all of that.
In the statement released by your office, in the words of the former vice president, it does look like someone who has a very sure solutions to the problem. And when he mentioned Argentina, there are those who say, God forbid, Atiku Abubakar's suggestions of Argentina and how the president approached things, God forbid it happened in Nigeria, that was a very wrong example to make.
Listen.
Was that a goof by your principal?
Listen, Sheung, God forbid. The scenario we have playing out in Nigeria may be far worse than that of, of Argentina.
But why did your principal say the Tinubu government should use the Argentina approach when the Argentina approach looked like a bad idea?
Listen, before December, the new president of Argentina, came on board. I mean, the indices were terrible. But look at what has he done? What he has done is, what is important. He has cut, all of the wastages, in government. He's flying, a business class. He's not using the state, assets to advance his, his personal interest. Using the aircraft, to, for his sons to go party.
Is Tinubu government doing otherwise?
Sorry?
Is Tinubu government doing otherwise?
Tinubu government is doing worse than that.
Really?
Oh, yes.
Example of that?
Example of that is what happened in Dubai, when it took people who didn't have any business. They just went there to have a photo, Photoshop for the Instagram.
Is it Dubai or Doha?
Both in Dubai first, at the COP, before Doha. In Doha, it was worse. His children who didn't have any business being, on that delegation.
Could it be that they don't have any business?
What business do they have?
Is it possible that the president has assigned them some roles?
I don't understand about that.
No, I'm just imagining.
Are those roles constitutional? Are they elected officials? Are they appointed officials? What are we talking about? You see, what we have now is nepotism and bigotry pro max. That's what we thought we've seen the worst of that in the era of Buhari. But I'm sorry to say that it's never been this bad. People are appointed, your friends, their wives, their daughters, their sons, their son-in-law. Bisi Akonde. What are we talking about? Are there no competent Nigerians from different parts of the country?
Does that mean that those people too are not competent? Are they not Nigerians?
They are competent, but the point I'm trying to make is that you need to run an inclusive governance. You see, inclusiveness is a tool for national unity and stability. If you tell people to go to hell, they'll create hell for you.
So are you saying, or is Atiku's point of view, that this government is nepotic?
It is worse. It is. I mean, Atiku is not just saying it. We are seeing it play out real time.
I mean, if you look at part of the statement released recently was that this government lacks transparency. That is disgraceful in transparency and accountability.
Why would they fall into the same trap as the Buhari's administration, the same ministry? The ministry is supposed to bring in succor to people, the most vulnerable of Nigerians, welfare, humanitarian affairs, and all they are doing was to line their pockets. It happened in the era of Buhari. It is happening now. But you know what? It's not a surprise because Tinubu did, state that he was going to tread the path of, of Buhari. And clearly, that's what he's doing.
Now, in all of this, there are those who believe that the only reason why, because usually they will say, Atiku keeps quiet for 4 years, he comes back to run for office, that Atiku has interest in running in 2027. That's why he's talking. That's why he's criticizing.
He shouldn't talk?
No, is it true that he's running
to your terms,
in 2027?
If we are all satisfied with the state of things, we can all, there'll probably be no reason for
Is your principal not in the idea of becoming a president in 2027?
That is not the issue for now.
Is he?
That is not the issue. You see, we need to even survive from now to 2027. And you and I have a responsibility. Atiku has a responsibility. That is why he has willingly offered even some of his own solutions to them. But they are playing politics. I was happy to hear the president speaking to governors. Was it yesterday? Or thereabout? And he was talking about the fact that they need to focus on governance. But he is not doing that. He's already playing politics of 2027.
Really? How?
Oh, yes. When the vice president spoke recently, what did he say? If he said that they are aware of all of the outlets through which smugglers use in taking out foods and all goods out of Nigeria, and that is the reason why there is hunger. That's why the price of foods are and he blamed it on the opposition. That's silly.
Maybe he has a fact that you are not privy to.
Which fact does he have that is different from the fact that independent journalist Isaiah Soyomba had? That already linked the president, the Comptroller General of Customs, the Inspector General of Police, to the major smuggler, from Ogun State.
Let me ask you, and you've debunked it, that Atiku Abubakar is probably leaving the PDP.
That was a nonsense. That was a product of Tinubu's politics and his newspaper.
So you blame Tinubu for it?
It was irresponsible, of them. It was the nation, and it was Tinubu. Clearly, we know what the intent, is. That's why I'm telling you that he needs to focus on governance instead of playing politics.
But he promised a rebuilding of the PDP, but I don't think that is happening already. It's almost 10 months since after the election.
There are mechanisms.
Over a year since.
Yeah, it takes a while.
What is he doing to fix
There are
the
mechanisms that are in place as we speak to ensure that all of the, aggrieved interests, in PDP are all brought, to the table to talk. Some of those things are not things for the media, but I can tell you that there are engagements already to assuage whatever ill feelings that may have happened as a result, of the last elections and the rest of it. And they will talk and resolve their issues.
All right. And those who say that Atiku will not back down until he becomes president, is that a fact?
Is that a sin?
I'm asking.
No.
Is that true, Paul?
So we need to be honest with ourselves. Is it wrong for a man to have an ambition? An ambition that is predicated on good, on public good? Atiku has always believed, and rightly, that this country has been very good to him. And I don't think there is anything wrong in a man trying to give back to a country that has been good to him.
Okay, and that's going to be by being a president.
He has also been available, and he has also been contributing in other areas.
Right.
And it's not a do or die affair. It has never been for Atiku Abubakar.
Paul, it's good to see you. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
Paul Aide is a media advisor to former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, and he also advised him during the election as his media aide. Thank you so much indeed for your time.
Thank you, my brother.